to the most original talk radio station anywhere. We are LA Talk Radio at latalkradio.com.
You're listening to Fouché Way with Brandon Fouché, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Well, hello, and welcome to the Fouché Way radio show, live every Thursday at 1 o'clock p.m., sponsored by a nonprofit organization called Canine Hope for Improvement Program, where we hope to improve the quality of our dogs' lives by moving towards a no-kill society. The number here is 818-602-4929. Well, here we are, another week. I'm happy to be here, and I want to let everybody know that I'm going to be putting on a seminar, and it's going to be Thursday, October the 4th, from 7 to 9 p.m. at Los Angeles Trade Tech College. And for more information and to purchase tickets, you can go to www.safela.org. That's FAAFLA.org. The ticket donation is $30. And for our listeners, until the weekend, you can get a $10 discount. So when you go to that website, you'll be a button there that you can click on and you'll get your $10 discount. I want everybody to come down. We've got tickets that are selling right now. We only have room for 100 people. And I guarantee you, you won't want to miss this. We're going to talk about and show things that you've never seen and never heard before. And we're going to help save some lives. And the money goes to helping dogs, getting them spayed, neutered, chipped, and whatever they need. And so I wanted everybody to come down. Check us out. We have 3 callers that are on the line today. And the first of the 3 callers is Royce Chain. And if you've gone to the Facebook, you can see Bean there. And Royce was fostering Bean and had a problem. This is a very unique situation that most people, when they run into it, they just misdiagnose it. They don't know where this problem is coming from. And we're going to talk about this to help Royce move on and help this dog to become part of her pack and then eventually move on to be adopted. So, Royce, are you there?
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right. So, look, tell us about Bean. You've had her for how long now?
Bean's been with me for like 9 days.
9 days, okay.
10, maybe 10, I don't know, 10 or 11 days.
10, 11 days. Now, I had the pleasure of meeting you, and I want to say this before we get started. You know, this show is really, it's a Fouché Way show, but it's really for people to come on and talk about the problems that they're having, to network and talk to other people so we don't seem like we're alone. So if we have problems, we can talk to each other. We can go to the Facebook and make comments and get some help. So because we're talking about dogs that fight or that get in trouble, I mean, we got to keep it real. So this is not like one of those politically correct shows where you got to say the right thing or tone it down. I mean, anybody that's been in a dog fight and had to break it up, if we were to get everybody together and talk about their experience, it would all be the same, that emotional rush. Mm-hmm. So we want to keep it real and tell it exactly how it is, because that's what really people want to hear. And if you've had a dog fight and someone gets on and they milquetoast it and water it down, you're going to know that's not real. This show is real. Right. Dog aggression is real. And the truth in helping and helping people to get through this, you've got to have a strong foundation that's based on truth. That's how I'm able to do what I do, because I'm truthful about what I'm doing. And so, Royce, I want you to tell everyone what happened. What happened? You took this dog in, and this dog seemed like it was going to be okay. And
yeah, so I have 2 pits of my own, both of whom one's had some problems before, but I've gone to different trainers and they were effective. He's now a really good dog, and I have a female who's just born naturally balanced and happy-go-lucky and no issues. So I've been fostering a lot, and all the dogs seem to do well, and my dogs seem to really be quite great at helping shy dogs come out of their shell.
Mm-hmm.
and I just sort of allow them to do their work, and I'm just here to sort of feed and take care of. So we took on Bean, and, you know, the story about Bean is actually no one really knows where she came from, but it was evident when I took her over from a previous foster that her face is incredibly marked out. She had many broken teeth. And she was extremely fearful. She met my dog, she growled, and then just started to shake, and the shake was visible.
Mm-hmm.
But it was almost like within, even like hours, she had taken on to my path.
Mm-hmm.
And that was immediately within, I want to say within like an hour and a half. We were with a friend who brought out her dog, who's friendly but very energetic, and Bean just flipped out.
Mm-hmm.
Was sort of screaming and lunging, but she was still with my dogs. She came right to my house, and I think from the perspective of having had a dog who was aggressive, but he was more like a boy with no structure. He was like a little a-hole who just thought he could run everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't give him any structure. I didn't know any better back then I learned.
Mm-hmm.
But Bean, it was so hard to see her as somebody who needed structure because she was so, in our human term, broken.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was apparent in her face, it was apparent in her behavior. Comes into my house, and she started to do really well. She showed me that she had social skills.
Mm-hmm.
She would wag at my dogs and start kissing them, mouthing them, and lipping them. But I did notice even early on, my female plays with every single one of my fosters. They meet and it's game on. They start to roughhouse and play and chase. My female wanted nothing to do with Bean in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Bean would stomp at her, dance at her, wag, and my female would just put her head down.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me was very odd. You know, what is it about Bean? But to me, it went to more of a place of, oh, maybe she's just really weird and broken, and just my female didn't want to deal with it. So as time went on, she was still, you know, very fearful outside. You know, tail always tugged, and then I took her out a couple of times and really got a glimpse of the aggression. She didn't aggress at every dog. Mm-hmm. It was sort of the high energy, rambunctious one, probably ones that are always also reactive,
mm-hmm.
that she would literally scream like a banshee.
Mm-hmm.
And I told the lady who runs the rescue, I said, you know, I've seen aggression in my own dogs, but it's different. Like, my dog really just wants to get there and show who the boss is. But this was the kind of aggression that disturbed you.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was like a matter of life and death for her.
Right.
So that was alarming. Then, okay, so we were sort of just observing and seeing what happened. And then I think it was like 3 nights in, she started barking. She was definitely coming out of her shell. She started barking at outside noise, which she didn't do the first 2 nights. And then consequently, she went and got spayed, and she had a really awful spay job. So the next 3 days, we would just sort of like, volunteers would come in, or myself, we would just take turns babying her and nursing her,
mm-hmm.
making sure she was okay, because it was really a hideous surgery. And so this was like a Tuesday when she had the horrible surgery, and by Friday, she was feeling better. We had weaned her off all her medication. She was starting to go out with me a little bit. And that night, still, my female pretty much avoided her. However, they did allow her to completely integrate. They would sleep on the same bed. They would cuddle. They would nuzzle up with each other. No issue. So Friday night, they were all sitting sort of side by side. Suddenly, it was really late at midnight. I'm laying there watching TV, and Bean hears something. I live in a very dog-dense community, and I think there was like a dog probably really close to my window barking, and being sort of out of control. And Bean started barking, and then she sat up. And my female sort of just was curious and set up along with Bean. And I was sort of starting to get up to get Bean in the crate because I didn't want her to bark. And she also had a tendency to pancake. As soon as I shuffle my feet or I raise my voice, she pancaked, like hit the ground,
okay, and
shaking.
Mm-hmm.
So I got up to try to get her. When I was walking over, I saw her snarl 2 times. Mm-hmm. Not because she and my female were side by side. My female didn't even see this. First time, and I'm like, uh-oh. So I sped up, and I didn't want to run and startle her. Second snarl, I was like, oh, my God. this could be really bad because so I mean, I didn't know for sure what she was going to do, but I was just like, this could be bad.
Right.
So I made sort of a last ditch effort, and I raised my voice. I said, "No, Bean," and then as soon as I said that, she was on top of my female.
Right. Now, was it difficult? What happened after she grabbed her?
So, thankfully, I've had some training, so I kind of understand like who to sort of. I mean, my understanding was I was going to have to fight the fight with my girl. Mm-hmm. Because she was the one being aggressive. So instead of grabbing her, I turned around and I had two hands on Bean's collar and I just started dragging her towards her crate. Meanwhile, I was doing that. I think my female kind of knew I had the situation under control, and I gave her command to off, and she let go. Mm-hmm. But by then, there was like she had ripped like an 1.5 inch gash on her arm. Her form was all gashed up, and my female actually was fighting back too. So she gave Bean a pretty good couple of wounds inside her mouth too. But they were already locked down. It wasn't one of those fights I can tell. My dogs have scuffled, and it's just I can give them one command, they stop. It literally, if I hadn't been there that quickly, she would have attempted to rip my female throat out.
Okay. And so you were able to stop it because you grabbed her and you kind of forced her in the crate, is that it? Or behind the door?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, into the crate, because the crate was not very far away.
Okay.
And then I gave my girl a command to off. Mm-hmm. And then the next couple of days, it was just like, just when I contacted you, Brandon, and then we were trying to get things set up, but she was still here. And it was almost like she had put the fear in us.
Right.
And then I think it was like a day or two later, I was starting to walk her separately because I, as much as I know, it wasn't like she wanted to attack my female to redirect. She was so unpredictable. I felt as if. Mm-hmm. So what if something happens again? She gets agitated and then she's close to one of my dogs, and then she's going to redirect on me. Mm-hmm. I'm not about to take a bite from a dog who is fighting to kill. Mm-hmm. So we were just like tiptoeing around her essentially, and then one day I'm trying to walk her, and she just has the tendency, she doesn't bolt, she doesn't charge at the door, but she just wants to start like going out. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, you know what, if you're going to be here for a while, I'm just going to make you do what I do. I kind of had a sense that maybe she wasn't getting enough structure from us, it was too much babying. Mm-hmm. So I would make her sit, and I would just push her butt down a little, and then she'd get up. Just push her butt down and she'd get up. And I think that happened about 7-8 times, and she looked at me and growled at me, and I was like, oh, crap. I'm like, I'm not messing with you. Let's go. Whatever you want to do, let's just do it.
Right.
So that was when I was, like, urgently calling Brandon to get her seen because, like, I didn't really want to, come home to this. And the more she was crated, the more she got agitated. And my dog, she started growling at them when they walked by the crate. Mm-hmm. She was already showing some food aggression when she would eat or walk by the crate, she'd growl. So that was already happening before. Mm-hmm. But it was like super scary, and so that's when I brought her into Brandon.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So yeah.
All right. So look, I did the evaluation on her. This is why it's important to have an evaluation placed on a dog, because we're not looking to see, is this a good dog or a bad dog? We're looking for very specific things. I want to know, is this dog genetically flawed, or is this a learned behavior? Mm-hmm. And in this case, with Bean, she's a dog that was used for breeding. Okay? And a lot of things that are imprinted on a dog's mind when they're breeding, it's different. When a dog is breeding, they're in a different hormonal state of mind. Female dogs, what they'll do is they'll feed the puppies, and then they'll go outside to use the bathroom or eat something, and then they run back to the puppies. You see, it's kind of neurotic in that behavior. They're under a hormone that makes them do that. This dog has been bred over and over again, and probably was a dog that was bred there too, and then became a breeder themselves.
Right.
When dogs are under this influence, they can have this Miss Jekyll, Miss Hyde type of mentality, where they're the sweetest thing, and then they can become aggressive if you're near their babies, right? So this imprinting on their mind, the whole reality that they live in, the environment, produces a mindset like this dog. And when someone adopts a dog like this, they have no history, they tend
Right.
to think that the dog has fear issues.
Uh-huh.
And so when you bring them into your home, we try to do everything that we can to bring them out of that state of mind.
Exactly.
Show them a lot of love and affection and positive
Right.
reinforcement and treats. And if they have to have, like this one had a surgery to be fixed and it was a bad surgery, we do even more positive reinforcement and catering to the dog. And so because dogs don't feel sorry for themselves, doesn't mean they don't feel pain. They don't feel sorry for themselves.
Right.
When we begin to do this, when a dog is in this state of mind, they see their environment as being subordinate.
Exactly.
They see you as being subordinate. They see others that are there as being subordinate. They see the dogs as being subordinate because your dogs are pretty much subordinate. So what happens is we actually embolden the dog to become assertive, dominant, and then ultimately aggressive.
Right.
So when we bring a new dog home like this, we should not try to bring them out of that unnaturally. Just let it naturally unfold. In other words, what I mean more specifically, don't bring out the toys, don't do the energy stuff, don't try to run the dog to excite them and to produce energy that humans definitely consider to mean happiness. We bring out the predatory side in the dog, and then once it's out and the dog says, oh, I understand this situation, I see the weakness here, now I'm going to climb because I've created out of a system of hierarchy, and they begin to do dominant things. And you know, humans have a tendency to do this a lot. I mean, we even do it with our cats. You know, we'll go and get a toy and we'll square it around the floor and have the cat do the predatory thing and grab it and bite it.
Right.
You know, and we say, oh, he's just playing, when they're not really playing. They're practicing their skills. Okay?
Right.
And so in this situation, what you should have done is brought the dog into your home because she was being submissive. Allow for her to do that, because when a dog is in a submissive state of mind, they are thinking about how to stay safe. They are assessing their environment, and they get it right. That's why we take our time. We don't want to put our will on it and bring them out. And so that's what happened with Bean. You brought her out too quickly, and she misinterpreted the whole situation there.
Right. And
so,
I felt sorry for her, I admit, 100%. It was this dog that looked all beat up. Her tongue was jagged, her teeth are all broken. I'm like, oh my God, how horrible of life she's had.
Sure.
And I just gave her everything I thought I would never give to my dogs, essentially.
Right. That's what created it. You can see that, though, right?
Right, 100%.
Yeah. And so what happens when we do that is that when a dog growls at us or it has a fight, fear jumps into us and dominance jumps into the dog. And that moment that they're living in, it defines the relationship of your environment. And so now that Bean has... Huh?
And it's like after the incident with my girl, she knew now at this point even more reinforced that she can use her mouth to get her way here. She can push us around physically.
Yeah, because that
we were all like, sorry.
Right. That is the highest emotional rush that she got. You know, there's nothing that can compare to that. Okay? And so when they look at the other dog, then they think about that passion, that emotional thing that took place, and that defines the relationship.
Right.
But all is not lost. You can get back from that. I mean, I've evaluated her now, and she is where she's supposed to be. And when she comes back to you, I'm going to show you how to bring her back into that pack and let her come out naturally.
And slower, right?
Yeah, we got to be slow. And all of this exercise or agility and things like that is very overrated. And, you know, a lot of people think that that's what they should be doing with their dogs, and that's not true. All of the excitement is basically related to the hunt. That's what ball playing and throwing things and tug of war, all of that is related to the hunt, which actually we produce a dog that we don't want. I want to show you how to look down the rabbit hole, and at the end of that, get the dog that you're looking for. I'm going to show you how to do that. And so Bean is
Absolutely.
now, go on, Bean is now, she has an extraction that she's getting done today with her tooth that has something to do with her tooth.
Yeah, an exam. We don't know if it's been checked, but yeah, she's in there for an exam.
Okay, great. When she gets back, we're going to do some things. I'm going to show you how to walk her. I know she has problems on the leash with lunging, being aggressive with other dogs.
Right.
I'm going to show you how to control her mentally. For so long, we have tried to control an emotional, hormonal problem physically. That's with choke change, prong collars, things like that. And sometimes that can exacerbate the situation.
Right.
That's old school now. We don't need that anymore. So we want to control them mentally. And that's what I'm going to show you. In fact, I put a little video up for you to see. I don't know if you checked it out.
I saw on the leash yesterday.
Did you see that?
Yeah, she did.
That's how it's supposed to be. And so when you pick her up, I'm going to show you how to do all of that. And we want to make sure that Bing gets nice and balanced. We want to make sure her hormones are working properly so she can get a great home. Okay?
100%. Thank you, Brendan. I will see you tomorrow.
You're very welcome, Royce. I'll talk to you later. Okay?
Thanks. Bye.
Okay. Our next caller is Brookford. I like that name. Brooke, are you there? Hello? Did we get disconnected?
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I had my phone muted.
Oh, okay.
Sorry
No problem.
I was answering you, but you couldn't hear me.
Okay. I said I like that name, Brookford.
Oh, thank you.
It's just kind of, or maybe it's the way you say it or something.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That Midwestern accent.
Okay. Jack, your dog Jack. I hope everyone has checked the Facebook out to see Jack. He is the cutest thing. And if you see him in person, you just absolutely fall in love with him. I mean, those legs, and I know he's got a condition there, but I mean, just makes him all the more cuter,
Yeah, I agree with you.
Brooke, you've got a very interesting situation here. I mean, most people that have little dogs that are aggressive, I mean, they don't deal with the problem that much. They just pick them up and, they take them away from the problem. I look at Jack as though he's a 65-pound dog. That's how you got to look at this in order to fix this problem. And a lot of people don't understand that a dog this size can make your life hell. And you've got a husband and a child, and you're dealing with this dog that is just out of control. Can you tell our listeners about Jack?
Sure. So I think it's right to treat him like a 65-pound dog because he was treating us that way. And we got Jack when he was 8 weeks old, and he was a great puppy, not aggressive at all. And over the years, he's about 4 now, he developed this aggression towards inanimate objects, like a long list of things, umbrellas and, a glasses case, these random things, the vacuum, and then also we had a baby in December, and he was starting to be aggressive towards her. We could put sort of avoid bringing the items that made him crazy around him, but then once he started getting aggressive towards the baby, we were really at the end of our rope. And we had an evaluation by Brandon, and he
well, before me, you've tried to seek help somewhere else, right?
Oh yeah, we had talked to a couple of other trainers. They suggested this sort of positive reinforcement that I think is probably successful if you're trying to potty train a dog or get them to sit and stay in their crate or something, but it did not seem like it would ever be successful. So they were saying, try giving him a treat every time, he doesn't detect the vacuum. And it felt like that we could grow old trying that, and he would just take the treats but then still be aggressive, at a moment's notice.
That's
so it was not a successful strategy.
Yeah, that's pretty much training 101,
Right.
Let's reward the behavior, but not understanding that they're doing that. So, okay, I'm sorry, go on. So
then I found your website, and, to be honest, my in-laws were telling, everybody was saying, you got to get rid of this dog. I was really, he was my baby before I had a baby. I mean, he's part of our family. I could not see getting rid of him, but I felt like we were really failing him, and I didn't see a solution. And he does have some health issues. French bulldogs are great because they don't shed and they're small and they don't need a ton of exercise, but they have major health issues. So he's not an inexpensive dog, and I couldn't see finding a home for him. You know, I was worried about what the ultimate, you know, solution to this problem was going to be, because there's lots of people who would put their dog down with this problem.
And did you think about that?
Trainers tell you to put the dog down.
Right.
I mean, I don't think I ever really considered it, but I think I was afraid in the back of my mind that, you know, that was sort of my biggest fear. And so anyway, I found your website and we talked, and then you said, send me video of him. Because I said, it's like instant. He gets completely activated, and like if we bring those items around, he'll go nuts. And it's really scary, and it started to be other things, the diapers. If I was taking out the dirty diapers, he'd go nuts, and he'd just, you know, go crazy. So we sent you tape, and you said, let me evaluate him. And you know, best news ever. My husband went to pick him up last Friday, and you said, this is a loving dog. He just wants to be part of your family, and he's not sure what his place in the pecking order is. And you've got to show him discipline and dominance, and he will respond to that. And it was instant. I mean, you can just tell when he's corrected. When we correct him, he completely relaxes. His body language relaxes. He's just, it's like he's so happy. He was just like testing us or something, and he's so happy that we're telling him that we're in charge, that he's like, you know, I think he's less anxious and calmer overall.
You know, those are some very positive and powerful words that you just said that people would not think. When you say your dog looks happy, satisfied, calm, when we talk about discipline and domination, I mean, people don't understand that.
Right.
And you just said that. I mean, that's huge.
Right.
You know, I mean,
he's definitely happier. He's even, you know, it's so funny, like, my husband will take him out in the morning for like a little walk around the block, and he's like, Jack has a pep in his step that he hasn't had. I swear his state of mind is better. It's like, I think you said this when we were on the phone the other day. He's looking to, you know, he's not comfortable trying to be the boss. He just feels like no one is doing it, and so he has to.
Absolutely.
He's not happy doing that. So to take that burden away from him, I think makes him happier, ultimately.
It's a job being an alpha.
Right.
Yeah, it's a job being an alpha for him.
Right.
And I want to say this also. When we talk about discipline and domination, and what I asked you to do from a human's perspective, do you think it was cruel at all?
No.
Not at all.
Especially when you see his reaction.
Right.
You know it's not cruel.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't look upset. I mean, you can read it when the dog, you know, if you yell at the dog because they pee in the house or something like that.
Right.
The dog looks depressed and upset, kind of, if you yell at them.
Right.
And he is like, okay, he's just sitting back. You know, it's like, all right, this is how it is. Like you said, you're speaking to the dog in the language that's in their language, not in your language.
And you can see your child as a toddler walking around being able to control him too the same way, right?
Right,
just
exactly.
that easy.
I think that it's the same way that kids sort of test you. It's like you're not supposed to be your kid's friend. You're supposed to be your kid's parent. And it's the same thing with the dog. The dog, you know, I think we probably inadvertently reinforced some of those behaviors by roughhousing with him and probably like playing tug of war, and it started to become, he thought it was normal behavior, and we're just getting that back on track. And like I said, it was really instant. I mean, it was night and day.
Good,
so,
good.
Really
I want to explain to you where this comes from, okay? And that's why I asked you to send me a video, because most people don't understand this. They don't know how to look at this. And if you go in and you just try to treat the symptom and you don't understand where the problem is coming from, it's like putting a Band-Aid on it. And so that's why it takes so long to solve a problem like this, whereas when you understand where the problem is, you can do it within a matter of an hour or two, okay? There, at the time that you got this dog, which you just told me from, around eight weeks, right? Okay, so from 8 to 12 weeks, there is what's called the fear imprint period. And what that means is you can be walking out of your front door and there could be an umbrella holder standing there. And all of a sudden one day your dog walks past that umbrella holder and freaks out. Either it runs from it or it runs towards it. And it's called the fear imprint period. It's when the hormones are connecting and changing and things are happening that the dog is now aware of its environment. And in this fear imprint period, if it's not treated properly, then a dog is trapped like a vacuum. It doesn't know how to move on. And if they can't move on, it determines the rest of their life, how they see things in relationships to the person. And then the relationship that you have with him in terms of playing games, because humans call it play, P-L-A-Y. When it's not play, a dog is really trying to connect to how he's feeling emotionally. Okay? When you see two dogs roughhousing together, they're really trying to determine who is more dominant than the other without actually fighting. The hormone only goes up so high. And it was to prepare them later for the hunt. It's an old wolf trait. Wolves would do this with each other first, and it would help them to hunt the game, to feed themselves. But this guy's food comes in a bag. It comes in a can. So that energy that you were using that we call play was actually producing the predatory instinct in the dog. Okay? And because it happened during the fear imprint period, he misinterpreted your intentions. And so he became aggressive to things that you're holding in your hand. He wanted to control you. He felt that he was in control of the family because you allow for him to climb in a hierarchy way. And so it's equivalent to you telling him to sit. And what happens, when we try to work with this problem, what we end up doing is when the dog acts like this, we tend to go into our training mode and say, sit, stay, which really exacerbates the situation.
Right.
So when you try to control him physically like that, because down, sit, and stay means something different to a dog, it's only hormonally that they do it. In other words, when nature tells a dog to lie down, nature says lie down for one reason only, because you're resting, because you're tired. So when we say it, we have ulterior motives. And if those ulterior motives are not in a hormonal place where they need to be, in other words, if your dog is in a dominant, assertive, aggressive state of mind to move forward, and you're telling him to sit and stay, which is a different hormone, then you are actually creating more energy. And sometimes when you say that, they can become more aggressive. Did you experience that? Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So part of the time we would stop. We were thinking, are we doing the wrong thing? Because he would get more aggressive, and we thought, are we just exacerbating the situation? Are we making it worse?
Yeah.
Should we just, and also some trainers we talked to said, just give him treats so he doesn't associate, the baby with negative discipline. Don't bum him out more about the change in his life that is the baby. So and that was really not good advice, because we were just kind of reinforcing it.
Yeah, all wrong. There is a reason that our system with dogs is just out of whack. I mean, we've got to come with some new information, new formula, something that's closer to the way nature intended us to process information, and look at training for what it is. If you're having success teaching a dog to do those things and there's no aggression involved, training is fine. But when you step over into the realm of aggression, then you have to be able to sit back, turn, and look at it from another perspective and understand what to do with this thing. Otherwise, you are creating a Frankenstein, no matter how small he is.
Right.
And that's what this show is about. People that are getting success, and this success that I'm talking about, it has to be instant. Because everyone has tried training to solve this problem, and training takes too long because it's about tricks, okay, that dogs are going to end up in the shelter. If I told you it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks to try to fix this problem, I don't know if you could do it.
Right.
So that was his problem. He got caught in the fear imprint period. No one was able to see that was the problem, so they were treating the symptom. So the moment I saw that video, I knew what was happening. And so what you have to do is take him back into the fear imprint period, so to speak, reintroduce him to the things that were exacerbating the situation in the proper way. And once I was able to do that, then Jack says, you know what? I got this. I understand that I don't have to do this. And so you were able to take him home and do it. And that's what I wanted our listeners to hear. And these are some of the things that we're going to be talking about in this seminar on how to control these behaviors. Is it genetic? Is it learned? Is it fear aggression, dominance aggression, subdominance aggression? Is the dog multi-layered? Is the dog physically dominant and mentally submissive, or mentally dominant and physically submissive? All of these things take place in the rehabilitation and in the evaluation. And I'm so happy that you brought him and that Jack is doing well. And I want you to stay in touch with me and keep things going, okay?
I will, definitely. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough. I mean, it's really changed our life. I mean, it's changed our whole household, you know. So
I am so happy. How's your husband now? And your husband's out of town. He was the one who brought him to me. So what is he saying? How are things happening with him? Because
he's so happy, and you know, he didn't grow up with dogs. We always had, not that they were so well trained, but I kind of grew up with dogs, and I feel like knew what you were saying about it not being like. I think you said you can't be worried about hurting his feelings about the dog's feelings, because my husband's a saucy and he's kind of conflicted about it. It's like, and then once he saw it working, he's like, I feel so much better. This is exactly, I saw Jack's reaction. I have no issues now. I know we're going to be able to fix this. So he was really, he was just thrilled.
Fantastic. So. Happy to hear that. Brooke, keep it up, and we will talk soon, okay?
Okay,
thank you very much. You're very welcome.
Okay, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye. Our last and next caller, again, Kathy Chain. Kathy Chain, how are you?
I'm good, Brandon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm happy to be talking to you again, and the reason why I'm happy is because, we followed your story from the beginning to the end, and we're at the end right now. You are fostering a dog from day one to the completion, meaning that we have your dogs all together in a pack, and I want to talk about that because it's so important for our listeners. That your story is imperative to hear, because people will need to follow this same formula when they go and get a dog from the shelter and bring them into their homes. I want to talk to you about how that was done and how your experiences in the beginning and some of your fears, okay? Because you've got a dog that had went into rehabilitation that was not successful, came to me. You and the relationship with the dog now are perfect. You've got all of your pack together, and you decided to foster a dog. And now you come to that other level, that other aha moment. And I hope Beverly is listening out there, because I'm going to talk with her again, and we want to get her there. But tell us about this moment. People want to hear it,
Yeah. Well, this is, I'm so thankful because Hank, our foster, I was able to pick him directly up from you, and we had the discussion, and I said, okay, this is going to be done the Fouché way. What do I do? And so you said, when you get home, you get on the phone and you call me, and let's get these dogs integrated, and I'll step you through it. So, and I'll be honest with you, it was like, oh, okay. Hank's a big boy.
Yeah, he's not a joke.
And, what?
He's not a joke. He's the real deal. He's the real deal.
He's the real deal.
Yeah.
And, so when I got home, I called you, and you stepped me through on the phone.
Well, wait a minute. Before you get to that, I want to talk about you were instructed, as most people are, on how to take that dog home. Okay?
Right, to do what they call like a decompression period, which is because the dog has been around a lot of noise or whatever, they need some quiet time in a crate.
Right.
The crate needs to become their happy place, if you will. That's where good things happen. You feed them in their crate, and those are the things I've always heard, and that's how it's done, and it's done over a period of time, and then you progress forward.
Yeah, this is when you're dealing with a dog that has emotional issues. Okay? Mm-hmm. But a dog that doesn't have emotional issues, it's got to be done a different way. That was our first caller. That's what should have taken place with our first caller. Okay?
Right.
But now I told you to call me. Let's go to that story. Let's talk
right.
about that.
So I called and we did, we actually used Gilbert, who was my problem child. You said, who's your best dog? And it's like, well, now it's Gilbert. So we used him as, the first dog to introduce, and you stepped me through it, and I walked them on leash together in the backyard, and everything went well, dropped the leashes, and, they started playing, and they had a great time,
but
and everything went.
Before that, you were afraid. Right?
Nervous, yes.
Nervous.
Yes.
Okay.
Apprehensive, because, like I said, Hank's a big boy.
Yeah.
And, I was living in the land of what if, which will lead to my aha moment that I'll share, but living in the land of what if this goes bad.
Right. And I want to get there, so I'm going to let you go. Go ahead, do your thing.
Okay.
Tell us.
So we did that introduction, and then I did the other two dogs the same way, one at a time, and each dog, they played, they interacted, and it went really well. Mm-hmm. And then the next day, I had them together as a pack in the backyard. Now I was doing well with the one-on-one. Mm-hmm. Although I was a little apprehensive, the one-on-one, okay, we're good. Now I've got 4 dogs. And I'm looking at them all, and I'm watching. I have a watchful eye. Gilbert and Hank start to play. Boom, Patch runs over to stop it. Mm-hmm. And so I think I might have called you right after that.
Right.
And we chatted, and you said, absolutely not. He's trying to control the pack. You control the pack. So Patch needs to stop that, and you told me, what to do. Mm-hmm. And I did that, and it absolutely worked 100%. Mm-hmm. But they still weren't interacting. Right. Every time I would take them out, they would just sort of, what was happening is I noticed the dogs, my pack, my 3, were kind of gravitating towards me and watching me, and I'm looking around, and I said this in my head, and this is where my aha moment came in, and I'm looking around at these dogs, I'm going, they seem so unsure. Mm-hmm. And a light bulb went off, and it's because I'm unsure. My dogs are mirroring exactly what I'm feeling. Exactly what I'm feeling. They were almost like they were on eggshells.
Yes.
Not sure how to do this. Not sure. And as soon as I got that moment, it was like, okay, you know what? No, wrong.
Right.
I'm in charge. Mm-hmm. I need to be the pack leader. I need to be 100% confident this is going to work. This is how we roll.
Right.
And energy changed. Yes. Dogs are playing.
Yes.
And it was like Brooke was saying, talking about how things can happen instantly. Yes. They absolutely 100% can.
That's it.
And but it was it, and it was shocking that it was that easy. But it was the fact that I watched my dogs mirroring mm-hmm. how I was feeling, and I wasn't saying anything.
Right.
They were picking up.
Right.
They were picking up on that feeling. That's how strong that can be.
But think about this, Kathy. Think about this. This is why mm-hmm. it's so important for this show, and it's so important to connect on Facebook and for us to talk. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to mm-hmm. take you back to the time with Gilbert when you brought him to mm-hmm. me and he wasn't doing what you wanted him to do in the presence of us, and we were able to do it. You yep. stepped it up. You got that feeling. You said, wait a minute, this is me.
Yes.
So you've had this feeling before. See how quickly and
yep.
easily we can lose that concept?
Yep.
And the moment that you say,
Absolutely.
you know, God darn it, this is not going to work this way. I'm in charge. You need to follow me. And you call me back and you said, look, your neighbors looked at you like you were crazy. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. You had to change the way you felt. You didn't care how your neighbors felt. That dog is your responsibility. If he's acting up, it's on you. And you said, you know what? I'm mad and I'm not going to take this anymore. And when you did
that, was exactly it.
Yes, your dogs connected on. I want to tell you something, especially those who have pit bulls. The reason that this dog is the way it is because it is an emotional dog, hormonally. It's passionate. That's a passionate dog. And so what I mean by that is if you're dealing with a passionate dog, just like you're dealing with a passionate person, you got to make them believe you are serious. And if you do that, then they say, okay, I will calm down and submit to you. It happens on a relationship between two people too. If you're not real in a relationship with a passionate person, they're going to shoot you down. Your dogs will do the same thing. They will say, you know what? You're weak. And I don't respond to that. I need a leader.
Right.
And when you did it, this is when I talk about when I'm explaining something in words that is beyond words. This is what I'm talking about. That's that aha moment.
Exactly. And I remember you even, because I texted you again and I said, Brandon, they're still not interacting. And you texted back and you said, give it another day. And I remember thinking when I got that, I thought, he knows something I don't.
Yeah.
Duh, he always does.
Yeah. I tell people this all the time, like when you say, oh, they're humping. I had someone call me and say, oh, my dog's humping. I said, no, that's the hump game.
Yeah.
That's got to go down.
Yeah.
Some people I tell them or I won't tell them. I won't say, hey, look, you're going to have an altercation because they're not ready yet. And that's why I need you to talk to me. And then I tell some people, look, you get ready for the altercation. They're like, what? You didn't tell me that. I said, yeah, but you were thinking about it. And that's what I'm going to say to you, Kathy. I know you're thinking about it. What if? But I want to tell you something. I want to tell you something because people ask me all the time, Brandon, how do you stop a fight? I say, you're moving too fast. Look, don't worry about that. How do you stop a fight is by preventing it before it ever happens. That means following the directions of how dogs are thinking. Don't make the mistakes. Don't allow your ego to move too fast. Okay? And sometimes that's what we do. We move too fast. That's why I say take your time and do this and do that. Study your dogs. Don't look at your will, what you want. Because it's about why the dog is doing what he's doing. And you don't need to make the mistakes. The mistakes have already been made. I made them. I've been doing this a long time. I've seen just about every fight that you can imagine. Okay? So that's why I say call me. So I'm going to hear something and I'm going to say, wait a minute, what did you say? Let's back up.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why I asked you to call me. And look at you. This is what everybody wants. This is why people don't get dogs out of the shelter. Because, just like you said, I really don't know what I want from my dogs, right? I'm confused. We know you want the love and affection. Who doesn't? I love to love my dogs, okay? But there are certain things that you have to deal with, and that's the way the nature has intended a dog to process information. If we look at it from that perspective, forget about the treats and the tricks and forget about that. Let's look at how nature intended this dog to process information and work from there. When I tell you to do something, when I talk to people and it works instantly, that's where I'm looking. Okay?
Right, right.
And you're there.
And I want to tell you too that like Brooke said how talked about how when she did it your way, the dog feels the pressure is off.
Yes.
And as soon as I took control and realized, okay, I need to step it up and take charge, they became a pack.
Yes.
You could see, it was like, we're okay, we're solid. And they all eat together, you know, they all eat.
Yes.
I'm walking them all together. And so, I mean, it was really that simple. And I know you've said it's simple, but it's not simple. And you have to really have that own feeling, that own aha. But when you get it, it's priceless.
It's priceless. Well, you know, Kathy, I'm so happy that we're able to talk to you and for our listeners to listen to you. And we want to keep this going. I'm happy to have anyone on that is moving in this direction to save dogs and to empower themselves. And I'm going to talk more about this during the seminar. I want everyone to check it out. We only have room for 100 people to come in and check it out. We're going to talk all about aggression. We're going to talk about things that you hear more in detail in person. I want to meet everyone. And Kathy, I can't thank you enough. And I want to thank everyone for listening to the Fouché Way radio show. And we'll see you back here again next Thursday at 1 o'clock p.m. And don't forget, the seminar is going to be Thursday, October the 4th from 7 to 9 at Los Angeles Trade Tech College. And the address is 2200 Grand Avenue, room TE 101, Los Angeles, California. And we will see you there. Thank you for listening, and I will see you Thursday.
You're listening to Fouché Way with Brandon Fouché, right here on LA Talk Radio.